Officials are warning of a maritime hazard off the southeastern U.S. coast, a Russian spy ship.
You know, normally this ship, the Viktor Leonov, menaces America's east coast with its spying operations. Tonight, it's not only doing that, but U.S. officials say it's putting other vessels in danger as well. It's known for playing Hunt for Red October style games with the U.S. Navy. But tonight, according to U.S. officials, the Russian spy ship, the Viktor Leonov, is sailing recklessly right off America's shores. Two U.S. officials telling CNN the Leonov has been operating off the coasts of South Carolina and Florida in a, quote, unsafe manner, not using its lights in low visibility weather, not responding to signals from commercial ships, which are trying to avoid colliding with it.
Another first for China. The Shandong is only the nation's second ever aircraft carrier and first such ship fully designed and built domestically. It was commissioned Tuesday afternoon at a naval base in Sanya, Hainan province. President Xi Jinping took part in the commissioning ceremony. He also met members of the Chinese Navy's carrier force and representatives from organizations involved in the project, acknowledging their achievements and encouraging them to continue making new accomplishments. All told, 5,000 personnel attended the ceremony.
The U.S. has been trying to get South Korea to send forces to support a mission in the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's main shipping routes for oil, which Iran has been threatening to close. Seoul has decided to join in the efforts.
A South Korean military source has confirmed local media reports that the country has decided to participate in a mission to ensure the freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, upon requests from the U.S. and as a way to support its alliance with Washington. The source said the decision was made last Thursday by members of the National Security Council's Standing Committee. Seoul has told Washington its plans to send a liaison officer next month and then a destroyer by February. It said the South Korean officer will work at the Bahrain-based International Maritime Security Concept to make preparations for the destroyer's arrival.
Reinforcements are heading to the front line for what could be the final battle for Tripoli. Militia allied to the internationally recognized government moved heavy weapons and fighters south to the outskirts of the capital. Haftar's forces are also reinforcing their front lines. Each side has foreign help. Turkey has offered to send troops in support of the Tripoli government, while Haftar has soldiers for hire.
There are 1,000 new Russian mercenaries deployed to Tripoli, according to two U.S. officials and one source in Moscow quoted in Bloomberg News. Sudanese and Chadian mercenaries all assembling on the front lines for what they're calling the final push. So it's increasingly likely that Turkey will deploy something to help defend Tripoli if needed by the GNA.
Waves of protests have hit New Delhi as the Indian Supreme Court refused to delay the implementation of a controversial citizenship law. Demonstrations have now gone on for a week, with at least 6 people dead and dozens wounded. The court says that it will only consider petitions challenging the law next month. The new legislation applies to non-Muslims who are in India illegally, but who can demonstrate religious persecution in neighboring Bangladesh, Pakistan and Afghanistan. Critics say it goes against the spirit of the country's secular constitution, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi has defended it as a humanitarian gesture.
Singapore's main air hub is taking precautions against potential flash floods amid climate change and more intense monsoon rains. Changi Airport Group is improving its drainage system to clear rainwater from buildings in the area, like shopping mall Jewel Changi Airport, more than 2 times faster.
It's become an icon at Jewel Changi Airport, or Jewel. The main attraction is this world's largest, tallest indoor waterfall that uses collected rainwater. But what happens to excess rain? Under this building is a complex drainage system that's currently being upgraded by Changi Airport Group, or CAG. It runs underground from Jewel and meets with another channel that drains rainwater from Terminal 2. To prepare for the rare flash flood, 500 meters of drain will be added to this system.
The attacks on Idlib province are relentless, they're intensifying, and witnesses say the majority of victims are civilians. Volunteer paramedics known as the White Helmets are there within minutes to do what they've done thousands of times during the war, try to save the lives of civilians.
At about 11 o'clock in the morning, a fighter jet, believed to be Russian, carried out 6 successive air raids in the Majani and Yoktan areas. They targeted displaced people living in tents. 1 girl was killed and 6 others injured. They're in critical condition and were rushed to hospital. Civil defense crews are still combing the area, searching for survivors.
Badama was one of 35 villages hit by Russian and Syrian government forces in Idlib province in the last 48 hours.
A Singaporean woman is among 6 foreigners who've been arrested in Bali for allegedly trying to smuggle drugs into the Indonesian resort island. The other are a Swiss man, a Thai man, a Chilean man, and 2 men from Hong Kong.
The 6 suspects wore orange detainee uniforms as they were paraded with their feet and hands tied at a news conference in Denpasar, the capital of Bali, on Wednesday. The local customs office said they were arrested separately since last month when they arrived at the airport. The 30-year-old Singaporean woman, identified in the local media as Ruth Tan En Yi, was nabbed on 14th November after immigration officers found a small plastic bag with 0.35 gram of cocaine inside her passport.
Pope Francis is making it easier to investigate clergy sex abuse cases. He did away with a Vatican secrecy rule as it applies to accusations of abuse. The move will allow bishops to cooperate more freely with law enforcement. The Pope also raised the age at which sexual images of minors are considered child pornography.
The Vatican's top-tier confidentiality clause was applied to clerical sex abuse investigations to protect privacy and the falsely accused. Victims said it silenced them and stymied investigations.
It is an act of transparency, of course, transparency for the victims and their families, transparency also and collaboration with judicial systems worldwide.
Matteo Bruni, the director of the Holy See press office, called the reversal extraordinary.
This latest phase of legalization also opens the door to the legal sale of cannabis vaping products. There's a lot of concern about the health risks of e-cigarettes. It's still not clear what is causing many serious lung illnesses related to vaping. Health Canada is regulating the legal pot vaping business, but since so little is known about the long-term impact, there are questions about the wisdom of that.
Karen Berry's Calgary cannabis shop has seen steady growth in its first year, but it's nothing like what she expects for year 2.
Oh yeah, the vape pens are going to be a game changer, no doubt. The convenience, the lack of smoke.
Starting this week, cannabis edibles, topicals, and vapes can all be sold in Canada, but it's the vaping products in particular that are causing concern.